What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. Got my guy Jake here yet again.
Back.
We're back.
We're back.
Gonna try to run as many as possible, obviously, while you're here.
I wanted to do 7 days, like 7 days of Easter, or like 7 days, 7 days straight, and then we didn't do one yesterday.
It's all right. It's hard every day. Kind of run out of things to talk about without a guest, at least. If we had a guest, every time, then it would be a lot easier. But
yeah, because we kind of like, I don't want to say we talk about the same things. Well, you know what? I mean, like we kind of do talk about the same things, and I don't know if that's a bad thing because things we talk about seem like pretty productive.
Yeah, but I also think like since we've started this podcast thing 2 years now, the things we have been saying have gradually changed. I feel like our mindsets. I feel like we're two completely different people from where we were from our first episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, sometimes I'll go back and like I'll like envy the mindset that I had
back then.
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, I like just like from a romantic standpoint. I obviously like I love, bro. Everything as it is perfect for me. So like right now, like my favorite time is now.
Yeah.
And like I love now, but like it's funny because I'll go back and I'll look at like the conversations we've had, and I was like, I remember exactly what I was feeling like that day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to go back and rewatch yourself and see how different you look at things, or even how similar in two years time. So I think it's kind of cool to go back and watch.
It's a video journal, bro.
Yeah, it is.
And it's cool because like you yeah, I've actually been journaling lately. And I know for a fact that journaling is good for you. And it's just if we for whatever reason we can't remain consistent, like I can't remain consistent journaling and I can't remain consistent podcasting, but bro, we're doing 2 in 3 days.
It's good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, let's jump into it. Let's I think we could start off with something we spoke about earlier today, obviously off camera, where I wanted to get into the idea of having a big network but keeping your circle small. So what that means, right, you want to have an outreach where your network is huge from all aspects of life, all different kinds of people, all the things that interest you or may bring you financial success or, spiritual, mental, you name it, physical success, right, and quality health. You want to have a big network. You want to be able to stick your hand out anywhere and get some feedback. But I think you want to keep your immediate circle super small. I think people get too like open with the word friend and like who they call friends, especially now as we get older. Like I mean, how many friends do you actually have? Like, what does the term friend mean anymore? Or like, who's in your real circle? I feel like your circle is like the people that you're gonna have as your groomsmen on your wedding day. That's your circle. Anything more than that, that's an associate. That's not a I don't know. It's not a friend. It's someone you know.
Friend could be friend. I have friends, but then I have like my guys.
Yeah.
I have my guys. Yeah. I can only rock with a small group of people.
Mm-hmm.
I can only rock with a small group of people, and I think I don't want to say it's almost like hard to find good like-minded people.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what we've been saying, what I've been feeling is, bro, I just think majority of people, I really like lately, as of late, I really am subscribing to the belief that there is a matrix, like not like there is a physical matrix, but like there are people that choose to take the red pill and be the hero of their own journey, and there are people that take the blue pill and just worry about whatever the fuck everyone else is worrying about. This is a crazy story, actually. Are you up to date with the Kanye West, the Kanye West thing with Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson?
Somewhat.
I don't know too much about it, but like the brief from what I briefly know about it is Kanye West and Kim Kardashian split up, and now they're acting like a fool on the internet.
Yeah.
And they're setting a really bad example for their kids.
Yeah.
And it's what everyone is worried about. It's consistently being reposted, this and that. So I met up with my friend 2 weeks ago, who's a big influencer, and I was telling him, I was like, because the Kanye documentary just came out, fantastic fucking documentary, and I was telling him like, yeah, I was like, yeah, man, I fuck with Kanye, but like recently I don't fuck with his behavior, and my boy's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I think he's like, he's been the guy that's been the hero of his own journey, but like right now he's like really setting a horrible example like for his kids and like for society. And he goes, bro, like, do you think any of that's real? And I go, yeah, why would it? Why? Like, it's like, bro, like, she's like, why make a fool out of yourself? And he looked at me and he goes, bro, like, he believes that Kris Jenner is a master of remaining in the limelight. You know, that Kardashian family has been in the limelight for fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
And he believes essentially that these, like the Kardashians and Kanye, are like literally just trolling society, and they're keeping the fame, you know, they're keeping like, and my counter argument to that was, well, like, it's fucking up the kids. I don't give a shit about the fucking money or the status or you remaining in the limelight, you know, because Kanye, like, of course, like, all this is going on while Kanye drops the documentary, right? So like,
Brings more attention to his name.
brings more attention to his
more
name.
publicity, and I mean, obviously he already has enough as it is, but obviously it keeps him relevant if he's not dropping music at that very point in time, you know?
And exactly. So, but like I said, the one thing I couldn't live with, I was like, all right, like, all that's fine and dandy. Like, I know people like start shit just to like remain relevant, but like the kids. And he looked at me with this perspective, and he's an influencer, like he's in the scene, and he goes, bro, you think Kris Jenner isn't coaching those kids on how to be famous? And I realized, like, whoa, like, they're like, so they are obviously above the media. They realized that Kardashian family, from this theory, they've realized that no matter what they do, good or bad, people are still going to hate and talk shit.
Yeah.
So they're almost like, what we look at, like what I as a normal person will look at their situation and be like, oh, they're fucked up, Kanye's an asshole, Kim's an asshole, blah 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 blah. And they're like literally like chilling in Italy, not worrying about any of it. It's like all went according to plan. And that's like, to bring it all back around, is like, I like to think that I think with like a red pill mindset, like my own, like a very, you know, customizable mindset. And that made me think. I was like, damn, like, maybe, bro, like another crazy thing is social media, like, people only know what you show them.
Exactly. It's a highlight tape. You know, you're never gonna show your low points. You're never gonna show the things you don't want other people to see, the things you're not proud of.
Yeah.
And you know, that's why, I mean, a lot of people do get off social media, and you need to learn how to use it productively and use it to your advantage, rather than just use it as a crutch to deal with your boredom or
Dude, I find myself now like doing that on a micro level, like trolling, because like I've been posting videos of me like essentially talking shit.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I'll post a video of me and it's not like 100% authentic, like I'm blowing something out of the proportion.
Right.
But I know it's going to get shares. And maybe that's fucked up, but like,
bro, it's like the Jake Paul, you know what I mean? Like
right.
The Jake Paul aspect of it, where, I mean, deep down, I think he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
I think he's smart.
Yeah.
I think he knows exactly what he's doing, but it's being an elite marketer, self-promoter,
right,
to get yourself in the limelight. Because nowadays with social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, we have the capabilities to make ourselves almost as famous as we want.
Yeah.
With the, you know what I mean, with our phones, with something that we have in our palms. It's kind of crazy to think about how powerful a phone and a video, and just you honestly portraying something that's not even true bring you to another level. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that the Jake Paul, the Conor McGregor, who's some other guys that just kind of
Colby Covington.
yeah, guys like that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, sure, maybe they are, a little bit of a dick, you know what I mean? But I mean, I think they're decent people to begin with, but they know that this generation and people feed off of that. That's how you get on ESPN. That's how you get on viral clips on TikTok. That's how people know your name, and that's how you make money now. And it's sick. But
is sick.
That's where we're at right now.
Damn, there's so many things that are like driven by dude, everything is money, bro. Everything is driven by the dollar, right? Because like the only reason why you're showboating and you're essentially making a fool out of yourself, or like you're causing a scandal, is for that, for that dollar. So like it makes me think like about certain celebrities, and like I'll be quick to judge someone, but then you kind of realize like maybe they're just trying to get money.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just trying to get money, like maybe that's so like that's, you start realizing that you're thinking a little bit more evolved when you're not necessarily just subscribing to what everyone else thinks. I feel like I put it on my story today. Well, I said Harvard can't teach grit. That actually has nothing to do with this. But I wanted to put on my story today that some people sound like a book. Like if someone reads a book and they start talking about it, I could tell that they're just quoting the book. And I think that's where people get fucked in life, is when they're not living a customizable life. They don't have a customizable mindset. Bro, so many people come up to me. Again, bro, today at the gym, like so many people are coming up to me and they're like, dude, like you're so inspirational. Like you're out there killing it. Like you're like people are like essentially treating me like I'm God a little bit. I'm like getting like some celebrity status. And like I'm thinking, and like nothing that I'm doing is that crazy. I just moved. I picked up an unconventional job, and I conduct myself on an unconventional way on my social media. And that's really all I'm doing. So I'm like essentially winning because I'm living a customizable life. And I think that's something people need to subscribe to more, is they need to be more themselves, and all of the things that they're stressing about will kind of just let themselves fall into place. I think that's the secret, is being yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely like relate to what you're saying when people take quotes out of a book or try to apply, like I don't think you can read a whole book and have it change your life, right? I think there could be one page in a book that could apply to you. You need to learn when to pick and choose what helps you and what doesn't, right? You can't force things on to some people that they don't coexist with what this message is trying to relay, right? So I feel like a lot of people, they see something work for someone and they think, oh, if I do this, like this is going to work for me. And that goes right into what you're saying with living a customizable life, because what works for you doesn't work for me, and vice versa. Yes, there is some things that we can agree on, or there's some things that like, hey, if you go to the gym, you know what I mean? Like a universal thing, like, right? Like if you go to the gym, you'll be in shape. Hey, that'll work for everyone. But maybe, journaling, like you said, like I've had a trouble, a decent, hard time journaling, or at least being consistent with it, or gaining anything from it. Like I'll write stuff down and I'm like, like I don't feel any different. And I probably haven't done it long enough to see the benefits of it. But I think that's a big thing, is like, it's almost like in a sport, right? As a coach, like knowing your personnel. Just because one thing worked with this group of guys that fit that tactic doesn't mean when you bring in a whole new team with different types of players, that system, right? It might not work for that. You have to play to your personnel and play to yourself. You have to understand who you are.
I 100% agree, and I think that is the key to life. We talked about before this episode, like talking about the key to life. And I think the key to life is making game time adjustments. And the problem is, some people don't even know there's a fucking game going on. Yeah. They're so on the sidelines that the best advice that I can give to someone that's feeling a little lost is really is get all of the external world away from you for a little bit. Put the phone away, put the TV away, spend more time alone, right? And spend time in contemplation. You don't want to overthink, but some people never even really think. Some people are just so distracted all the time that they never give their mind, like what I find works best for the mind, at least for me, is because people have a tough time meditating. You don't have to like. I mean, you know, that's good. You could do that, you know, but like sometimes our meditation for me is as simple as just I go in a room like this and I just see what comes up. Because we all have problems. Yeah. And your brain is a problem solver. It wants to solve problems. But when you don't let it solve the problems, when you don't give it space to solve the problems, it starts creating problems. So then we run the fuck away from it. And that's not the answer. The answer is to really sit with it, figure out who you are, and then once you kind of know who you are, just make adjustments every day.
Yeah, I think people tend to forget that we are in control of our thought process almost, right? So yes, we have random thoughts that go, you know, racing through your mind, you know, throughout the day. You probably what was the number? I think
60,000 to 70,000 a day.
60,000 thoughts a day. Now, think about, I mean, even half of them are bad. Think about what that does to you. And your mental health and where your energy goes towards, right? Yeah. And how that affects you. Yeah. But I think we as humans, we need to understand we control our thoughts, right? Like Absolutely. We can hear a thought and throw it out the window. Like that thought doesn't matter. Yeah. Our brains function, you know, they're nonstop unless we're sleeping. And even when we sleep, right, we dream.
Is still going on.
So your brain is always moving. There's always things that are happening. And a lot of people get overwhelmed, I feel. And I mean, I'm sure I have as well. And so if you, and that's where anxiety kicks in and, you know, depression, stress, you name it. But I feel like if you can, like you said, just take 15, 20 minutes a day to slow down and just, you know, decompress a little bit and just really understand like, hey, like this is what I need to do. This is where my thoughts have to go towards. This is where my energy needs to go towards. I think it helps. Like I've started to do it a little bit. And hey, it works for me, you know, like it works for me. Like you said, it works for you. Yeah. But your mind is a crazy, crazy machine that never stops.
And it's crazy because this is the thing that controls the well-being of your life, essentially.
It's everything.
It you know, like this is gonna sound fucked up, but bro, I saw this dog's neck get snapped in an elevator in Miami.
Really? What, it got closed?
Like the elevator closed on it and it went up and just snapped the dog, bro. Most traumatic thing.
Were you in the elevator when it happened?
So I'll tell the story. This because it's a fucking crazy story, bro.
Jeez.
All right, yeah, and if you are listening and you're squeamish, yeah, like we'll put a time to skip forward. You know what I'm saying? But like, it is a crazy story, and I'll try to make it, whatever. So like, long story short, bro, I pulled up to my friend's building. This girl comes running out, and she goes, "Oh my God, he's in there, in the elevator." And I'm like, "Who's in there?" She goes, "My dog." I go, "Your dog's in the elevator? Like, what do you mean?" Like, wait, like, you know, and then she's like, "My dog's in the elevator." And this girl comes and says, "Oh, no, don't worry, honey. Like, the fire department's here. Like, they're getting him." So the girl's like, "Oh, okay, my dog's fine." And the elevator opens, and there's 10 firefighters, and they go, "Get the fuck out of the way." And I go, "Oh, God." So in situations like this, I normally don't look because I'm very visual, bro. My mind is it's a blessing. It's very visual. Like I can be the guy to go ahead 10 years and paint you a beautiful story about how my wife and my kids and where I'm living. But at the same time, if I see something It's like hard for me to forget. They could fuck with me. But I looked, and I just saw this fucking bro. I saw this man holding the dog, and like it was his dog, and he looked like he was in pure terror. Like the dog's neck was like it looked like a slinky, and it was a huge dog. It was like 150. It was like a 100-pound dog.
Really? What kind of dog was it? Do you know?
It was like a fucking golden doodle, bro. And I was looking at this dog, like neck is snapped, and long story short. That for the average person is very traumatic. Even for me, very traumatic. The girl's face, like the girlfriend's face of looking at the dog. Like she thought the dog was like, this girl comes over and is like, the dog's cool. And then, so to like go from here to hell. And, I remember telling my friend, I was like, I can't fucking believe that I looked.
Yeah.
'Cause here I am, like, I have to deal with that now.
Yeah.
That's trauma. Like people have trauma.
Yeah.
And my boy looks at me and like this, like essentially like changed my life a little bit. And he goes, bro, like, what do you mean? And I go, bro, like I just saw that dog die. And he goes, bro, but a ship only sinks if you let the water get inside. I thought about that. And I was like, bro, you have control. Like I can create that drama of the dog dying, and then every time I see a dog, now I start thinking about this fucking dead dog. Like you can blow things out of proportion, or you can just not let the water get into the ship. So the trick is, how do you do that? And it's through letting your mind, like through mindfulness.
What if there's a hole in the ship?
Then it gets right in. Got to build a strong ship.
That's what I think. People have holes in their mind, right? People have holes in their mind where they maybe they can't control blocking out certain things, right? Like, and it could happen at a young age, right? Where they get traumatized or they see something that they shouldn't have seen at such a young age, and it sticks with them. So whenever that recurrence happens throughout their life, it could, trigger something or bring them right back to where they were. And I think that's why a lot of people do have problems that stem from trauma, right? From seeing something.
Yeah.
So like you said, you either gotta learn how to patch up those holes in the ship,
Yeah,
and stay afloat, or water, right, is gonna keep seeping through, and eventually you're gonna sink. And that's what drives a lot of people to that certain point where they are completely depressed, or
they have so many holes.
Yeah, and it's you can't recover from it.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
And you really get to an age, you get to a place in your life where you've been dealing with the fucking kitchen sink being thrown at you, and now you're like so scarred that it's like, how do you come back from it? And I, as an optimist, believe you can. But I've seen people that are, in their 50s that will go through a divorce, and all these emotions come up, and they're like, how can this person deal with a divorce of 25 years and they can't deal with, one night sleeping without heat,
Right.
How are they going to deal with like, what I'm trying to get at is, we spend our whole entire lives, we like kind of subconsciously know we have these things wrong with us, but we choose to not address them. And that's why people go through a midlife crisis, or they fucking freak, bro. Some people freak out. Like, I'm blessed because that's like what a panic attack is. You freak out over nothing. And that's why, like, I'm kind of happy that I kind of went through it, because it's better for something to happen early on, because since it's happened, I've been fucking really on this spiritual train. And now, like, I know enough about my mind to know that mental battles are just like clouds passing. Like, a cloud passes, it passes, and that's it. The problem is when a thought passes, the thought being the cloud, we hold on to it. We like chase the clouds. People don't even realize they're doing it. But I've realized that that's what like anxiety is. It's like you have one thought and you're supposed to just let it go. But then one thought leads to another thought, and that thought leads to another thought. Oh, my heart is racing. Oh, my arm is going numb. Oh, my face is going numb. Oh, is he looking at me? Oh my God, he's looking at me. Like, is it what's going on? Like, so like the trick, right, is to, and I feel like I'm speaking so much about meditation. My bad, bro. It's fucking like the trick is just to have a thought and let it go, and that's kind of like what my goal is with what we do, and the message that we preach is, I know it seems like it's repetition, but I want people to get on this wave, because no one deserves to have a ship with a fucking bunch of patches in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, over this like past year maybe, we've had, our where we take our walks and just kind of speak about things, right? Like late at night, and it's a form of therapy, right?
Absolutely.
But I would say this is like the first time where I've like kind of dealt with that. And I don't know. Obviously, when I spend a lot of alone time by myself,
Yeah.
I think about like, all right, like the bad things in my life, right? Or like what's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I question. It's hard, to judge how someone else feels, because you're not them. But I just question sometimes like the things people worry about, or think is bad,
Mm.
because I know like where, like how bad things could get. And by no means that I grow up bad at all.
Mm.
I grew up amazing. But I think understanding how serious situations can be will help you be able to cope with the things that aren't that serious, if that makes sense, right? So we need to understand, like, hey, like you said, like this is just like temporary.
Yeah.
This is temporary, because there's things that can be permanent.
Mm.
There's things like death and loss and injury and
Yeah.
tragedies that are permanent. And we complain, or we stress over things that don't even matter, a day, a week from now. And that is something, that I've used as a tool, where I'm just like, yo, this isn't gonna matter, 2 hours from now, or
Mm.
tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Why am I stressing over this, or why am I even thinking about this? But it's so hard, because we have those thoughts always running through our mind.
Mm.
Our mind are so, especially now.
And you can't really shut your mind off.
No.
You can't, like, 60,000 thoughts, whether you like it or not.
And even think about, you go to sleep thinking about something. What do you usually dream about?
That thing you thought about.
Something, either that person, it could be something totally different, but maybe that person is involved, or something. And that's why our minds are so powerful, and we just have to learn how to control them to the best of our abilities, and just really understand the value of the good things and the bad things in life,
Mm.
because there's a fine line between like bad, right? You can bad, like I knock over this can of seltzer right now, like, yeah, that was bad, right?
Yeah.
You could have your last conversation with someone,
Yeah.
like that's bad.
That's very bad. It's like, it's like my mom came in here like sweating things before. I'm like, Mom, what are you sweating? Like the breaker? I'll go downstairs, I'll change the breaker, And people do that. And I've done it, bro, it just all comes down to our lives are extremely comfortable. So we don't really know real stress.
Mm.
But I feel like, at least I've heard that, like, back in the day when we were cavemans and we were fighting off predators, like, we have stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, we have these things, and they're inside of us, but since we're never really stressed, it's almost like they're, like, dying to be activated.
Mm.
So, and that's why I'm such a believer in exercise. I think exercise is one thing every single person can do. Like, you almost want to trigger stress a little bit, because stress is inevitable. And I just feel like sometimes people's stress cycles are just fucked up. They'll get stressed out. They'll get overly stressed about something they shouldn't be stressed about. Yeah, they'll get like you just said, they'll just get really stressed about something they shouldn't be stressed about. So that's why I like people, like, bro, like on on Christmas. I ran the half marathon,
Yeah.
like off the couch, and like that's nothing crazy. It's but like I've done shit like that in my life. I'll do like fucking. I've done crazy, crazy, crazy workouts to the point of like, like you really like you give it your all, and I think that's a big reason why that's a big reason why when I was in high school, along with other things, I really didn't have any anxiety, was because I would push myself like my anxiety happened after football, and I had this crazy theory that my anxiety came because I stopped doing fall camp. Fall camp, bro, was the most fucking stressful thing ever. Like, I wouldn't want to go to practice some days. And it wasn't because of the physical, grueling aspect of practice. It was the fact that in the back of your mind, my neck can get snapped today.
Yeah.
That's a real thing with football.
So you frequently thought about that while playing the sport?
I would do my best to be as good as possible to not worry about those things. And the way that I played the game was more of a finesse way. Growing up in Long Island, everyone just teaches you to hit and be aggressive. I got a lot better when I realized that I can't hit and be aggressive with people that are from Louisiana that are 6'7" and 300 pounds because they'll tumble me. I need to take on half a man. So the way that I played the game was I would do my best to not hit, So I would play the game smart. I would play the game with my head up. My head was always up. But there are kids, bro. Like I remember we played Riverside this one game, bro. And this kid, bro, Riverside at the time was like number 2 in the country, bro. Dog team, bro. There was this one kid that he was not a good football player, but coach threw him on special teams, and he just wanted to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
And bro, after my first kickoff, I was watching him. He was like totally blowing his assignment. He was coming just to blow me up. And I was watching him the whole time. And he came to blow me up. He whiffed right past me. And then I go to make the tackle, and he comes back to crack block me. Like literally like injured. He comes back to paralyze me. So after that kickoff, I was like, "Yo, coach, I'm done with kickoff."
Really?
Yeah. Like it was soft. It was extremely soft. Because I was scared, bro, playing football. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, bro. Majority of my life, like fall camp, was not only do I have to deal with the workouts, the meetings, the loss of sleep, the trying to get food in, the loss of social life, but like I also have to like deal with like this could be my fucking last day. And then I stopped playing football, and then I didn't have that stress of like going to practice anymore, and that could be a theory.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know, I think sports is like a great way to deal with it though as well, right? So like you said, I mean, you had that, but that's where your life was at that point in time, right? Football was everything you had, everything you knew. Just like a lot of my life has been basketball. So I think we get so caught up in using that sport as our identification, and then once we don't have it anymore or we don't play it anymore, we kind of lose our identity, and then we feel lost.
Yeah.
But I think once you kind of understand that there are other things outside of that sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll help your mind be able to like appreciate the sport, right? When we're in it, I don't think we appreciate it as much as we should. We don't look at it. We take it for granted. We don't look at it as a privilege. Like that's a privilege to be able to play college sports.
Absolutely, I agree.
Like that is something that less than 1% of people get to.
It's fun.
Do.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game on a really high level.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the issue with like the identifying thing, is there's a very small percentage of people that can make that a career. For the rest of society, that's a game. Yeah. And I told this kid today. This kid at Lifetime. He's going to prep school, and he's like, thinking about, maybe walking on Division 1, like low major, like low, like a small school. And I look at him, and I could tell, like I could look at, he doesn't look like a Division 1 player, and I look at him, and I'm like, hey man, like like just some like words of the wise, like make sure you're not just a basketball player, like go out with your friend. Like I was almost like, bro, don't go Division 1, because I was like, bro, you're gonna go Division 1, you're gonna like be forced to be a basketball player, but like you're probably gonna get a career in finance. Like just by looking at you and speaking with you, you're intelligent, like be more than a basketball player.
Yeah.
Be a poet. Be a comedian. Be, like have these different things, because that's what freaks people out, is when they have one thing gets ripped away from them. Jordan Peterson, bro, like one of my favorite things that he says all the time is like, bro, build your house on multiple platforms. Family, friends, hobbies, wife, and then one leaves and
You
everything's
still have a foundation.
everything's copacetic, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of, it's part of the message like I've been preaching to the kids that I coach now, right? After we, after a tough loss or a tough weekend, obviously this past weekend, I tried to preach to them where if you want to be really good at this sport, you have to love it. Like you have to be all in. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Mm-hmm. Sports and basketball especially does not reward half. No. Right? You can't no. half-ass anything in any sport.
Yeah.
But basketball, I can speak obviously from my experience because that's the sport that I've played in college. Basketball is the one sport that you cannot cheat, right? You cannot cheat basketball. The work you put in or the work you don't put in will show when game time comes. Football, right? This is just me. You could speak more on this, right? Yeah. I think football is a sport where, hey, if you're a sick athlete and you're just a monster, the moves, right? They could come later.
Yeah.
I can always teach a guy on the D line.
Yeah.
But if he's 6'4", 270 and runs a 4.5, hey, he can work. Throw this guy out the way and go hit number 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But those are things that you can teach in football quick. Basketball, I can't just take a 6'8" guy and just throw him out there, because there'll be a 6'4" guy that's super skilled.
I, as a non-basketball player, would have thought that would have been my misconception. Like I think basketball is all gifted athleticism.
Yeah, and that's like the perspective that so many people, like, they see a tall kid like, oh, why didn't you play basketball? It's like, bro, just because
is that all you think of basketball?
Yeah, like you just think a guy is tall. Like look at Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul is 5'11", like scratching 6 foot.
It's crazy. 200
pounds, and like this guy took 4 different teams to their highest win total in his 17 years of playing. Like he took 4 different organizations and they won the most games while he was at the helm, right? At the point guard. And this guy, if Chris Paul was just walking down the street, right, and you were in a non-basketball town, you never saw a State Farm commercial, you'd be like, all right, this guy's not a basketball player, right? But that's what I'm getting at, where basketball is very skill-driven and very mentally, like your mental is so important, where I feel like other sports can be you can get by with some God-given talent. So
you think mental is important in basketball?
It's 90% of the game.
I would have thought it's more so like you do, like it's more so just taking reps and physical work, like hard work, and then it just becomes like a muscle memory.
If you are talking about, say, one aspect of the game, right? So say jump shooting. Yeah. If you shoot, right, make 1,000 shots a day for the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your jump shot will get better. Yeah. Now, what happens when someone's in front of you and they don't let you shoot, right? What happens when there's help defense? What play do you make?
Yeah.
That all comes from film study, right? Watching the game, being a savant of the game.
Yep.
And basketball, like, you're always growing. There's always something you can gain from it. And I'm not saying in other sports you don't, because I know you do. Like football language, right? Even like quarterback language or defensive language. It's like if you heard like the way they speak, people wouldn't even have a clue. I think there was a clip of Jalen Hurts talking about he was trolling like the reporter, right? The reporter like, oh, like what happened on that pick? So bro, this dude starts. He's like, well, he was in the two flats, and I thought he was in the cloud. You know what I mean? And like he
right.
just
He's
starts
doing football
speaking
lingo,
defensive
yeah.
lingo,
Yeah.
and like the reporter's like just sitting there like. It's like, you dickhead. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Why do you think, like, obviously he didn't mean to throw the pick.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
right.
mean? He read the coverage wrong and he
Yeah.
let it fly.
Yeah.
So it was just very funny
Right.
how people that aren't athletes or haven't been a part of the sport at a high level try to
Talk about things.
Yeah. And it's
I
funny.
hate that. That goes back to spectatorism. It's like, bro, like you ever watch, like I'll watch like a UFC fight and someone be like, man, I would have beat that guy's ass. And I'm like, bro, you don't know your right hand from your left hand. Like, bro, that guy could beat you up blindfolded, strapped to a chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a crazy thing. But no, I do want to let you finish though and jump back into the mental aspect of, well, I mean, even just sports. I feel like, honestly, bro, here we go again. Like, where isn't your mental important? Like, why do people have to like find me corny for like stressing the mental when like mental goes into everything? Taking a test, you have a bad mindset going into your test, you're probably gonna fuck the test up. Before a game, bro, how many people are great in practice don't perform?
Yeah.
Like how many people, with fighting, people are great at sparring, they get into the octagon, 100,000 people, bro, and they just fold. I had a coach that would like send my El Camino team, everyone from Gardena and Carson and Inglewood and fucking Compton. He would send us. He was like this like little white guy. He'd send us like articles on like mindset, and we all would like laugh at him, because like these kids are gangbangers, But like now I see what he was trying to do.
Bro, it's so important. Why do you think every professional team has a sports psychologist?
Yeah.
And obviously their scale is a lot larger than the levels that we have played at, right?
Yeah.
They're dealing with 40,000 people in the stands telling them, from the opposing teams, like, they hate you, you suck. You have to deal with social media now. Think about like athletes in the 90s. They didn't have to deal with that. They didn't have to deal with media. Now after a game, bro, you're getting killed on social media if you play bad from your fans. Now imagine the people that you're playing against, like how they feel about you. And that's why I think fans get too involved, right? Like the spectator aspect of it, like you were saying. Like so many people have an opinion on sports that should not have an opinion. Sure, everyone is it's a free country, right? You have your opinion, you have free speech. Absolutely, do your thing. But to like the extent that some of these people try to talk about sports or talk about specific athletes and like tear them down, it's like you don't even understand like how good this guy is at what he does. You know what I mean? Like people watch from their couch. I go out there and I could do this, or like how is he not doing this? Like yeah, I'm a I guess susceptible of doing that sometimes too. When I got some money on a game or something like that, I'd be like, oh, this guy sucks. But I don't mean it. It's just like figure of speech while I'm watching the game.
Right.
But people truly mean it. And there's some NBA players, right? NFL guys, MLB guys, you name it. Bro, like these guys are humans at the end of the day too. So the mental side of it being like having a sports psychologist and helping them coach them mentally through the sport is a big aspect of it. You look at the guys that are most successful, bro. Those are I would say most mentally tough guys of all time. The greats,
Absolutely.
those guys are mentally locked in and dialed like at all times.
You have to be, bro. At the highest level, you need to be in such a flow state that any bit of doubt is cancer. That you need to be, bro. That's why I love MMA, because it's 1 versus 1 in front of fucking millions, billions, whatever the fuck it is, and there are real fighters that will play psychological warfare before a fight. Conor McGregor did it to Jose Aldo, knocked him out in 14 seconds. Rose Namajunas, beginning of her career, was like, okay, you could see it. As she got her mental good, as she started winning fights, she'd say to herself, I'm the best. That's like a big thing if you watch like a Rose Namajunas before a fight. Her fight camp is like everyone's telling her you're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Goes I'm the best. I'm the best. Goes in, knocks someone out. You know? So it's like we should look at like even for guys, like, bro, I don't believe in toxic masculinity, but this like girl that I matched with on Hinge was bringing it up last night, so it's fresh on my mind. But like, I think guys get labeled as like toxic masculine because they just choose to not talk about any of this mental shit, and it's like, bro, like some of the baddest fighters in the world go to a sports psychologist. It's like you can't like fucking read a book. It's like corny to you to read a book.
But I think society like hasn't rewarded, right, the male showing that side, being vulnerable,
Yeah.
or being open enough to speak about their issues, or understanding that like, hey, it's okay. One of my favorite podcasts right now called The Pivot, with Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder. Bro, they had Michael Beasley on the other day, a couple weeks ago, and that's like the message they preach, where it's not okay to like hold everything in because it's not sustainable. You need to be able to speak about that, right? You need to ask for help sometimes. But as a man, right, we're always taught to get up, right? Shake it off. Why are you crying? Like, what? You know what I mean? That's what we've been taught since a young age. Like, you'll be fine. And now add 30 years of hearing that or living like that. Bro, you're going to, at some point, you're going to crack, right? You're going to break down. And we need to do a better job of that. And like, that's why we do this, right? Sure. Like, you see people make jokes all the time. Like, oh, like a guy that makes a podcast, whatever. Like, bro, if you had the intellectual capability to sit in front of a camera and a microphone and have an actual like productive conversation towards your mental health, I think you could see some of the benefits of it.
Extreme benefits.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, me and you we'll sit here once the camera stop rolling and we'll speak for another hour or two about, you know what I mean? Like, we've had better podcasts off camera than we've had rolling.
Usually every time we talk is like a podcast. And it's really important, right? Like for men to I see nothing but great things about doing a podcast. I was listening to someone ask Jordan Peterson a question yesterday on a YouTube video, and they were like, "Yo, like you're so good at speaking. I'm nervous to talk to you right now. How do I get better? How do I become good at speaking like you?" And he goes, "Practice." So like, what's this? Like so like starting a podcast and like working on being more articulate isn't good. It's great. It's great.
If you want to be successful, you need to learn how to speak to people. There's the phone, texting, emails, Zoom. Even Zoom is not the same, right? Speaking on someone in Zoom is a lot different than me and you face to face learning how to speak, right? So when you want to get something out of someone, you're going to have to man to man, right? Or man to woman. You're going to have to go look them in the eyes, shake their hand, and learn how to speak on the spot. You don't have time. It's not a text message, right? I relay something to you. You have, 1 second to give feedback, and that's how a conversation works.
Yeah.
You don't have time to wait and think about what you're going to say and, all right, let me text this. No, let me delete that. Let me send it. That's not real life. And now, I mean, that's what this world has come to, where we don't know how to speak anymore. We don't know how to talk to people. The kids I train or the kids I coach, and like these guys, they don't communicate. They don't speak. And there's one thing, sure, if you're a little shy, right, and you're a little, timid, that's okay. You'll grow out of that. But if you can't speak to another person and have a good conversation, I don't know how far you can get in life without learning it's a skill, right? It's a skill to speak and have, like you said, be articulate, right? Be smart, be intelligent, have a sophisticated conversation with another person. Because anything you do, whether it's business, sports, your family, your wife, your girl, your friends, bro, you have to learn how to talk to people.
Every single thing. Every single thing. Could not agree more. I am in 100% agreement, bro. People are not good at communicating now. And it's very odd. I left after our podcast, like I was on a vibe, because like great, we had a great podcast the other day. I was feeling good, so I called this girl that I met off Hinge, and people are so bad at communicating now that it got to a point where, like, because she didn't have like 30 seconds to respond, like come up with an answer, I would ask her a question, she would give me like a one answer response. And then it got to the point in the conversation where I was like, I feel like I'm interviewing you, And that's a lot of people in general not being articulate, not being able to hold a conversation and communicate with someone is not attractive. And by attractive, I don't mean like I want to fuck you. I mean, I mean like it's not an attractive, it doesn't make people want to conduct business with you, trust you, want to hang out with you again. Communication is what a fucking, like, people like shit on like the communications degrees. I mean, like, maybe the degree is stupid, but like the idea of communication is excellent. And communicating is a great way to get you into the present moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know. People either get it or they don't.
Yeah.
You can speak to someone for 30 seconds and kind of have an understanding of like where they're at. And it's not good to judge a book by its cover, right? I'm not saying look at someone and
You'll know instantly though. Where I can tell instantly where someone's at.
yeah, like I'm a pretty good judge of character, right? And I have a quick perception of people. What people show you is who they are. So they may change, a little bit over time. Say you don't speak to them for a while, or you see them on social media, be like, hey, so and so, might have changed a little bit. Oh, like he's like doing, and then as soon as you speak to them again, bro, they're the same person. So I think the first time you speak to someone, that's why they say a first impression is so important.
Yeah.
Because your first impression is your last impression. Because what you show someone, that is how they perceive you. How you speak to someone, the way you communicate, that's how that person is perceiving you. So you need to really think about how you talk to people and what you say, because that's what you give them, that's what they're getting, right? So whatever I speak to you about and how I speak to you and whatever I say, I mean, I guess you can almost judge a person, right off of that
Instantly.
And I don't think people understand the severity of, at least in relationship building, when you're trying to network.
Yes. Dude, I met Gary Vee. I had no time to figure out what I was going to say to him. And you could tell in the video on my Instagram that I'm fucking nervous.
I thought you looked good though. Like I thought what you were saying, you spoke well. Where Gary Vee was engaged enough. I feel like he's a guy like, hey, if you come up with some bullshit, he's gonna be like, all right, man, like, thank you, like, and like shake your hand and push it. Like, I tried to put myself in that shoe, in those shoes, because I fuck with Gary Vee a lot. I listen to a lot of his stuff, and like I'm like, yo, like, how would I react? What would I say at that point in time? And I even with time to think about it, I don't even know what I would say to him. Like right now, if you told me what would you say to Gary Vee and he's not here, I don't know. So like for you to like on the fly talk to him, and it's awesome how you tied in the clip of the post. You know what I mean? Like circling it back, so there was some substance to it, right? There was some history behind it, and I'm sure he appreciated that.
Yeah.
So that was dope.
That was dope. That's a cool one day, bro. I think we should fucking. I do want to move on to something else, but one day I do want to speak about some of those experiences, because that was fucking. Well, these are just the first of many, but that was Gary Vee, bro. Like that was cool. Like we don't even think about these things. I just feel like we're so destined for greatness.
Yeah.
That it's keep it pushing. But meeting Gary Vee was fucking super cool. I think I did okay too, but like I have watched myself because I can speak, I can spit, but like I have seen videos of me when I'm nervous and like I'll use the word like a lot, like and and it makes me like now in this moment I would love bro, we should just we should fucking start podcasting again, and we should start reading books again. I heard when you're reading, I could feel it. Like when I'm reading, I'm like using larger words, you know.
Yeah.
I'm able to.
It's like firing your mind, firing your brain.
Yeah, bro, because that's like cool, bro. Like that's why I speak about Jordan Peterson. The people that I speak about are the people that I respect and admire. I like Mike, because I respect him.
Yeah.
I admire him. I like Jordan Peterson because I respect and admire him. So, yeah, let's. I'm gonna do a quick pee break.
Yeah.
And then we'll do one more topic and we'll wrap it.
Cool.
Cool. Yo. So, I want to ask you a question. And then I'm gonna follow it up with a statement or a sentence, just a couple sentences. One, do you think the law of attraction is real? And the reason why I'm asking is because last year, there were 4 people that I said I wanted to meet. So much so that I DM'd them or made a post about them. We're only 3 months into the year, and I've met 2 out of the 4 people. One was Gary Vee. One was Charlie Rocket. The next person is Mike Stud. And the person after that is Aubrey Marcus. We're filming Mike Stud's concert on the 27th. So that's 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Aubrey Marcus lives in Austin. I'm probably moving to Austin. So I'm 4 for 4 in my head. So what do we think? Now, and I'm not going to say I manifested it, but I reached out to them, said I would like to meet you. And well, I picked 4 guys that are largely kind of unattainable. Charlie Rocket's huge. Gary Vee is fucking huge, massive. Mike Stud he's niche. He's a niche, guy. Like he's on the go. And Aubrey Marcus, he didn't answer any of my emails or messages ever. So why would he do it now?
So, yes, I do think the law of attraction is real, but there has to be something going on behind the scenes, right? You can't just speak about something all the time and not do the steps in order to get there, right? So if you want to attract something, you can't just speak it, right? That's why people confuse manifesting, like, I'm speaking $1 million into my bank account, and then going to fucking play Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the law of attraction, right, and manifesting go hand in hand, but you need to understand, like, you set yourself up to be in a position to speak to those people.
Absolutely.
If you weren't doing the things that you were doing, you would have no chance of speaking to them. And that's what I think that's the big thing that a lot of people don't get when it comes to the law of attraction and manifesting. Like, hey, I need to do these things in order to get what I want. And then, sure, you attracted it, right? The law of attraction, the things that you set your mind to naturally flow to you. I mean, hey, you are on a yacht, you know what I mean, filming with some of the biggest influencers in the world. Just so happened Gary Vee is there at, what is it, Coinbase, the Coinbase event convention in Miami, and you were filming it. Charlie Rocket, you're down in Miami, you network with the right people, bro, you're chilling with Charlie Rocket, taking a picture with him.
On like some like intimate vibes in like my friend's penthouse.
Crazy. But all the work you've put in up until that point has got you here, right? It opened those doors for this opportunity to become available.
Yeah.
Mike, I mean, bro, me and you have been the first thing we said on our first podcast. Like, bro, we like shouted him out, like, hey, like, bro, we're gonna meet you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're gonna come talk to you. We're gonna have you on a podcast. We took the next steps. We got Kilmer on the podcast. me and Nick shot a Chug Bud video for
Yeah,
him. They
yeah.
reposted it on their Chug Bud thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've bought his merch.
Right,
Mike,
like, we put ourselves on the radar.
that's what what I'm getting at.
With Kilmer, bro. Like my boy sent my page to Kilmer, and Kilmer was like, I know Jake, great dude.
It's awesome.
You know, so that's so that's it. So that's it then. Law of attraction's real, but there are steps you need to be taking
Yeah.
to get these things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to like even what we started the podcast with, right? Like your network, like having a huge network. Like those are three people from all different walks of life.
Right,
like that's a
right.
musician and a podcaster. Gary Vee is like the ultimate entrepreneur, and then
Yeah.
Charlie Rocket is the guy that speaks about quantum physics.
Yeah, yeah. And Aubrey Marcus is super into like psychedelics too, like spirituality
Right,
too,
yeah.
like a whole other fucking.
I've
side
watched
of
his
shit.
podcast with Bradley
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah,
Bradley
yeah,
Martin had him on. Did you ever watch that one?
No,
You would
no.
like it, yeah. Because
Yeah?
Bradley Martin's dope. I fuck with Bradley.
Okay, cool.
Um,
You know, I met Bradley, right?
Did you?
Bro, yeah, Bradley. I was bigger than him. I'm bigger than Bradley Martin.
What do you mean?
Like he's like more muscular than me, but like
You're
he
taller
like
than him?
I'm taller than Bradley Martin.
Bro,
I'm
they say he's 6'3".
Nah, he ain't no 6'3".
Really?
He might be as tall as me then, maybe. I don't like. I thought I was gonna see a monster, and like,
Well, you ever notice how they always film up with Bradley? It's either eye level or up. Like, and it's a lot of the time because the camera guy's shorter than him, so everything's up. So he just always looks massive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a huge dude.
yeah, he's
But-
huge, but
Nah.
it was a weird interaction because like
Where did you meet him?
I met him at Elevation.
Oh, at the
Elevation's-
gym.
bro. They're all at the gym. They're all at the gym.
Steve will
If
do
I
it.
was
Be
a
there?
young kid and I didn't have anything going on and I was interested in content, I would just go to Elevation. They're
That's
all
dope.
there. They're all there. Bro, Steve will do it is there every day.
Really? You saw him there? Like,
Bro,
multiple-
every day.
really?
Every day.
And
Every day.
people don't like interact with them, or the people are all over.
No,
them?
they let him rock because there's so many other influencers in there.
Wow.
They just let him. It's crazy, bro. Like I would think the paparazzi. But yeah, there's also a difference, bro, from being Steve will do it and being Leonardo DiCaprio. That's one thing. Well, that's one thing I talked about. Now, obviously, set and setting, right? Because yeah. Well, no. Well, that's a whole other topic. It's like what's influencer versus like actual fame? Being an influencer famous? That's a whole other thing.
I think it's just generation based. It's generational based. I mean, for these young kids and that watch Steve will do it from the 14 to 18 bracket, they don't give a fuck about Leonardo DiCaprio. Steve will do it as their fucking
Isn't that crazy?
god, you know?
I know he really is. Yeah.
But all those type of guys, Logan Paul,
Yeah,
Jake
yeah,
Paul,
yeah.
like these is who they look up to, and we've spoke about that in the past, where these influencers now that are so like monumentally big, like this is their Leo, Will Smith, their Samuel L. Jacksons, Denzels, Brad Pitt, Ben Affleck. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like the
right.
guys that we kind of grew up watching movies. You know, movies. It's attention span, man. It's shorter. People want to watch 13-minute YouTube videos rather than a 2.5-hour movie, and they get to watch the raw vlog lifestyle, so you feel super connected while Leo's playing a character. So I think that's the
maybe it
difference
could
that
be-
separates
maybe
the
it
two.
could be they could feel even more connected to the person because they know their actual life.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I've never seen Leo outside of a movie. I've never listened to him outside of a movie.
Yeah.
Steve will do it. I mean, like I feel like I know the guy. I feel like I know Bradley because I
like-
watch their videos.
But
every day.
I'm not as intimidated. Me, obviously, because I'm still in like a little bit of an older generation. I'm not intimidated when I see Steve will do it.
But that's the point I'm getting at, because you feel so connected, like you know them already.
Okay. I see
Leo,
what
you're like
saying.
starstruck because it's like this guy's a Wolf of Wall
Starstruck.
Street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy is The Departed. This guy's Shutter Island.
Talk about talent. Not to get off topic
No,
again,
but
but
yeah.
like, geez, like, oh my god.
Like that's just 3 movies.
Like,
That's-
bro, like, imagine, like, bro, like, I thought, like, someone's like, I was like, yeah, I could be an actor. They're like, you can. I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right, be a loose cannon cop. And I'm like, like, I can't be a loose cannon cop. Like, I don't, like, acting is hard, bro.
Yeah,
Acting-
acting is interesting.
I do want to circle it all back around because I do want to end the fucking podcast soon because
Yeah.
we just flew. Bro, it all goes back to in the beginning of the podcast, growing your network. I wouldn't be able to be living the customizable life that I am living if I didn't grow my network. And growing your network means like bro, there are just some simple things you could do that'll really make a big difference in your life, like moving. Like, bro, like I think people got upset with me because I was like, I wasn't like talking shit about Long Island.
Right.
I was just stating what I've seen, what I've observed, and some people like felt a way about it. And just to add on top of that, I'm not saying like you can't grow on Long Island. I'm just saying that it's very easy to grow elsewhere because Long Island's what you know. And bro, you can go for 3 months at a time. You could go like So that's like one thing, but yeah, I think that's just like one of the other keys to life.
Yeah.
Is advancing your network, advancing your mindset, and it's by getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the last part you said right there, being uncomfortable is the only way to grow. If you're comfortable all the time, you're going to get complacent and you're going to draw like a flat line, right? And you're just going to stay at this point. You're going to plateau for a while. The moment you get uncomfortable, I feel like that's what brings the best out of you, right? Because now you're in that like fight or flight mode. You're in the survival of the fittest, like we spoke earlier. You need to be uncomfortable and you need to put yourself in those situations to grow and see what you're really made of.
Yeah.
The times when your back's against the wall, that's who you really are.
Yeah.
And I mean, Long Island, from my time here, yeah, there's some good parts about it, but hey, me and you have lived in other states, right? I've lived in 4 or 5 different states. You've been to 4 or 5 different states where we've spent sustainable amount of time at that place to understand there's so much more out there. There's so I want to travel the world, and I'm sure everyone does. But what I mean by that, like I'm in a lifestyle with basketball where networking is everything. Playing, coaching, training, the sports psychology part of it, bro, it's all networking, and it's so small. Think about the worlds that we're in, right? The camera world. It's so vast, but at the end of the day, like the people, right? The network, everyone knows everyone. It's all, oh, I know this guy. Yeah, of course, I know him. Oh, yeah, I can connect you with it.
I can attest to it.
And it all comes back full circle. So that's why having a huge outreach and a huge network and taking chances and taking risks and going places, right, that might be a little uncomfortable for you, you won't know how beneficial it'll be towards your growth and towards the future of your life if you don't do it. If you just maintain for the rest of your life, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, and I don't think you'll be happy.
And how do you do all of that on a high level? You become really great at communicating.
Yeah.
Great pod.
Do a podcast.
Do a podcast, bro. Also, dude, majority of the people that, agree with that kind of thinking all went out and did it. And, the people that disagreed, they didn't. And life doesn't die, bro. It moves on with or without you.
Gotta keep going.
Gotta keep going.